Mr. Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This week, the Energy and Commerce Committee is set to consider the first comprehensive climate program in the history of the U.S. House of Representatives. While I believe it's important to adhere to regular order, this is not the first time a bill has moved to full committee from a subcommittee, whether it be Republican or Democrat. And I want to begin consideration of the bill. I want to thank Chairman Waxman and Chairman Markey on their efforts to reach a consensus across diverse membership and produces legislation that seeks to reduce greenhouse gas emissions both home and abroad. This bill is a compromise in its truest sense of the word. If Congress does nothing, greenhouse gas emissions could be regulated administratively through the EPA without input from members that represent diverse constituencies nationwide. The U.S. can either choose to ignore any climate change threat and risk continued lack of global leadership, or we can choose to act. Today, we choose to act. When the American Clean Energy and Security Act draft, or ACES, was released shortly before April, I had serious concerns with the impact of ACES would have on my constituents, their job base, and also the overall economy. After weeks of negotiation, I'm proud to report that many of my initial concerns have been addressed within the substitute bill, which I will summarize briefly. First, the legislation provides transitional assistance to all U.S. refiners, which are critical to our national and energy security, to help promote energy efficiency measures and reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. Ultimately, I believe more assistance and discussions needed on the impact of refiners under a climate program, but I believe this is a critical first step. Second, although there are productive conversations with the chairman, we were not able to reach an agreement on the low-carbon fuel standard, which was removed from the legislation. Ultimately, EPA will develop that in their process. Third, H.R. 2454 provides necessary assistance to all U.S. energy-intensive industries, trade-exposed domestic industries, including chemical and petrochemical industries I represent along the Houston Ship Channel, to protect those jobs from foreign competitors. I want to thank the Chair for working with me to clarify the feedstock definition within the bill to help adequate compensation to chemical industries that use fossil fuel as a feedstock. Fourth, the bill includes our recommendation to clarify covered entities are not required to submit allowances for certain fuel products that are exported abroad, which would help U.S. industries be competitive. Fifth, the bill clarifies that certain industrial sources, such as refineries, will be eligible to receive funding through the carbon sequestration program. Sixth, the legislation puts forth a combined energy efficiency and renewable electricity standard I believe more adequately reflects state and regional capacities. The chairman worked with us to make efficiency requirements workable within ERCOT market, which covers most of the state of Texas, and remove prospective nuclear from the baseline, which will assist not only Texas utilities, but many other utilities in our country to meet the mandate. Seventh, the bill strikes a fair balance in providing allowances to electric and natural gas LDCs, as well as to merchant coal generators, all of which are essential for protecting Texas consumers. Eighth, a substantial portion of allowances are allocated for consumer assistance programs. Ninth, the bill includes several of our recommendations to improve oversight of the carbon market, including requiring quarterly oversight reports to Congress, appointing robust FERC oversight staff, and maintaining sufficient oversight funding. And again, representing a district that had Enron in it, we know what trading can do to an issue, and we want to make sure that doesn't happen with carbon. Finally, the final legislation includes more realistic emission reduction targets and more cost containment mechanisms. And again, I want to thank both Chairman Waxman and Markey for addressing these concerns. I look forward to working on minor improvements to ultimately support a climate policy that protects both our environment and our economy. And Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back my time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Green.